What is going on, guys? Vidiator, and what you guys are watching is a Killzone Shadowfall review. Killzone Shadowfall is a fourth major Killzone launch on consoles. Killzone Shadowfall also takes 30 years after the events of Killzone 3, and this means if you are new to the series, you do not have to be afraid of being lost in the game if this is your first Killzone title. And yesterday I said that Need for Speed Rivals was by far the best looking graphical game on the PlayStation 4. Link to that video down in the description below. However, Killzone Shadowfall single player, I believe, is even more graphically superior than that of Need for Speed Rivals. The single player runs at a locked 30 plus FPS and it feels great. And graphically, this video will not be able to do it justice, but it looks stellar. This honestly is on par with Crysis 3 on high to ultra settings on PC. Graphically, Killzone Shadowfall single player does not fail in terms of graphics. However, how is the gameplay in the single player? Now, I do have some gripes with the single player. It's unlike Call of Duty. It's not built on rails. I get lost sometimes. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I find it to be entertaining at times, you know, trying to find the mystery of where I'm supposed to go. However, every once in a while, it gets kind of annoying when I don't know where my next objective is going to be. But when I can find the action, Killzone Shadowfall single player does not fail to amaze. There are some very interesting action parts, and it gets a lot of fun. The combat, having the recon bot is a lot of fun, and also being able to utilize the touchpad to control this robot was very nice of Guerrilla Games to do. Not a lot of games utilize the touchpad very well on the DualShock 4 controller at launch, but Guerrilla Games was able to create some unique ways to be able to use the touchpad on the DualShock 4 controller. For Killzone Shadowfall single player, you have 4 different swipe commands, and that prompts your robot to be able to do 4 different actions, and all of them are very useful throughout the game and honestly makes the gameplay experience even more entertaining. So if I had to rate Killzone Shadowfall single player, it would roughly be around an 8.5. You know, the whole aspect of getting lost is a nice feature, but when it happens too much, it takes away from the gameplay experience, which has happened to me a few times already. But I do have to give Killzone Shadowfall an 8.5 out of 10 in terms of their single player. If getting lost happened half as often or just for half as less time, I would have give Killzone Shadowfall single player a 9 out of 10. However, an 8.5 out of 10 is not bad at all for Killzone Shadowfall, and honestly, my favorite part about this game has to be the multiplayer, so let's hop into my review of the multiplayer right now. So on to the multiplayer. So Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer is different than that of Killzone 3's multiplayer, and that is good in a lot of ways, however not in every single way. But honestly, the biggest difference in between Killzone 3's multiplayer and Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer has to be the frame rate, and frame rate is so key nowadays. Killzone 3 multiplayer ran at about 30 FPS, but it honestly felt more like 20 FPS because it dropped so often. However, Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer runs at 60 FPS. It drops every once in a while, but it's not obvious at all, unlike Call of Duty Ghosts, which is very nice. The whole 60 FPS makes a whole world of difference when it comes to Killzone Shadowfall. However, they did have to tone down the graphics a little bit from that of the single player, but it still looks graphically amazing on the PlayStation 4 and still is the best looking first-person shooter on the console. So now let's talk about all the other amazing parts about Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer besides the FPS. The first one has to be your character customization. I like all the special abilities in this game. I find none of them to be overpowered, and I find them all to be very useful. Every single one has their pros and cons in each one of the 3 kits. And I personally think that they work out great in Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer. The 2 that you get off the bat do not feel like they're underpowered, and the ones you get later on in the game don't feel like upgrades, they feel like side upgrades. So basically, the new player is at the same playing field as the veteran player. However, there is an advantage for playing this game for a longer time. Everyone gets all the weapons off the bat, but you do not get any attachments off the bat. You have to unlock the attachments as you play this game. I think this is a very nice feature because the attachments don't benefit the gun in a humongous way. It just basically helps you customize your weapon better. Like, there's different sights, and you can also put some attachments on the gun, but it won't make it overpowered. It just makes it a side upgrade, and it basically rewards those people who have been playing the game for a long time. But if you just join the game, you have a lot of weapons to choose from, and I think it works out great, and it's a very nice feature in Killzone Shadowfall. Having all the weapons off the bat is an amazing idea. The next one has to be the power-up abilities that your soldier gets. You get 2 of them, and I find them not to be overpowered, especially the ones that you get, and the ones you get later on in the game are also not overpowered. They're also side upgrades. So the person that just got their game, their 2 special abilities will be just as good as the guy who's been playing the game for 77 days or whatever. But the guy who's been playing for 77 days has more options to pick from. It's a very nice way to reward people who have been playing the game, but it does not hinder new players into Killzone Shadowfall. Another great part about Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer has to be the game mode itself. First of all, you can customize your own game mode and play with your friends, and it can also get submitted into the general public playlist, which I think is great. It adds huge customizations and basically can allow players to say, hey, I want to snipe only, and look, there's this snipe only team deathmatch lobby. Why don't I join that? And that's a very cool feature in Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer. However, another great part of it is Warzone itself. It is the general game mode in Killzone Shadowfall, but I think it works out great. It's basically a 25-minute match that features 5 different segments within it. You have 2 rounds of demolition, 1 you're on the offense, 1 you're on the defense. It features a domination round. It features a retrieve the beacon, which is basically like sabotage from Call of Duty. However, once you get the bomb or beacon and you bring it into the enemy spawn, you get 1 point, but you have to do that 3 times to win instead of just planting a bomb and then winning that way. And then there's also classic team deathmatch. I think it works out great because all these game modes really fit Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer, and it just, changes the pace of the game really rapidly, and I think it's a very nice dynamic in multiplayer, and it works very well in this game. Now guys, right before I finish up this review, I want to state all the bad things in Killzone Shadowfall so it can be a nice balanced review. The first one is that there are no ammo depots like there were in Killzone 3. Now what is an ammo depot, you may ask? Basically, in your spawn in Killzone 3, you had these ammo crates and you could pick up ammo from it, and if you got it right when you spawned, you started off with more ammo, or if you went there at a later date, you would basically just refill up your ammo to maximum capacity. And this was a great feature, and why is it gone in Killzone Shadowfall? I have no idea why. It was a great feature, and honestly, I do find myself running out of ammo every once in a while in this game, and that is not a nice experience to have, so I'm really pissed that that is not in this game, and hopefully they will add it in at a later date because it really worked well in Killzone 3. The next annoying thing about Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer has to be the lack of in-game chat. It's 2013 and there's no in-game chat. However, the Killzone dev team said that they are planning on adding it in at a later date. Please do so because we're in 2013. This was standard back in 2008, so I don't know what they're doing here, but please put it in. Yes, there is party chat on the PlayStation 4, but I'm not going to be inviting all my random teammates every single time I'm going to be playing this game, so please add it in at a later date. It would be an amazing feature because, it's 2013. Please do it. Thank you. And the last quote-unquote bad thing about Killzone Shadowfall is that not enough people are playing it right now. I mean, of course, this is pretty obvious. The console just came out. I think Call of Duty Ghost has like 30,000 people on. This game has about 6,000 or 7,000 people on. So please, when you get a PlayStation 4, pick up this game because I'm going to rate this multiplayer a 9.5 out of 10. I absolutely love this game. And honestly, if you're getting a PlayStation 4, please pick up this game. It's a lot of fun and you really will enjoy it. So, with a 9.5 in multiplayer and an 8.5 in single player, I'm going to give Killzone Shadowfall a 9 out of 10. Definitely buy this game if you guys are getting a PlayStation 4. It is, in my opinion, the best FPS on the console. I mean, Battlefield 4 will be up there as well, but the Battlefield 4 campaign sucks like always because it's a Battlefield campaign, and those are just never good at all. But guys, in the comment section down below, if you guys have Killzone Shadowfall, what do you guys think about the game? And based off what you see, what do you guys like about the game? Do you hate it? Do you like it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe if you guys are brand new to my channel. Follow me on Twitter and like my Facebook page. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'm Z, Vidyates, and I'm out. Peace.